my glasses on so I can see. Okay. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Okay. And the mayor, is she coming or?
I think she is, but
I thought she said she was, so.
yes, ma'am, I believe she is, but she's looking on us the way on her.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to call the first meeting of the year, January 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Sherwood Advertising and Promotions Commission to order. It's 4 p.m. Jamie, if you'll call the roll, please. And we do have a new member. Before we do that, I do want to introduce, I think everybody knows him, but Councilmember Charles Harmon is going to be taking over for April. The mayor has appointed Charlie to take April's place. April has cycled off. Every so often, we cycle off these committees and commissions, and so April has cycled off, and she has appointed Charlie to take April's place. So Charlie is going to be our new member. We have a council member, so Charlie will be taking April's place. So if you'd like to call the roll, please, after that explanation.
Charlie.
Here.
Marina.
Here.
Faith.
Here.
Nita.
Here.
Jeff.
Here.
Josh.
Here.
And Danny is absent and traveling on his way back in town, but he said he did not think he would make it back in time, so. All right. After the roll call, we do have our minutes. Those were emailed out, and these are the unapproved minutes. And I don't know if everybody got a chance to look them over. If you need a chance to look at them again a little bit before we approve them, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'll be happy to take a motion after that.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Nita, second by, was that Jeff or Josh? Both. Okay, the JJ combination. All right, if you'll call the roll, please.
Charlie.
Abstain.
Faith. Sorry.
Yes.
Nita.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Marina.
Yes, and Charlie abstained because he wasn't here, so he can't possibly know what we talked about. So very good. All right, on this next line, I've changed this to city happenings and put Jamie, Heather, and Corey on here because we got a lot of stuff coming up this year. Corey Malloy has been in the city quite a while, and he's going to be doing our eclipse this year. And we got these cute little eclipse glasses. Everybody got one, and then we've got Jamie, of course, does our events, and Heather does some stuff, so they're a tag teamer, but I see Blake has come up to talk first. So Blake, and he's not even on here, so.
I'm not on here, which is, I'll sit down in just a minute. I want to let everybody know that we kind of, within Parks and Rec, we've restructured a little about what we're doing, some of the things with special events, and Lauren Alexander will be taking the lead role on special event coordinating. Corey's going to be picking up a couple events as well. Jamie will be helping out. She's been in a different role as well, so she's still helping with A&P. But just wanted y'all to know that Lauren will be taking the lead on special events. So I will turn it over to them.
Okay, so we will just let Lauren come up here, and then we'll let Corey come up here after Lauren, and Lauren go first, and Corey can come up and give us any information he has on the eclipse if he has anything to share.
Hi. So we have some of the main events we have for 2024 right now is the Easter egg hunt. We have the eclipse on the 8th. We're talking about a concert series, and we have that spread out through April, May, June, September. August, I think August is also in there as well. But we're playing around with it right now, but we're talking about a concert series where we will have different groups coming in. We're talking about having a church group come in, country, rock, jazz. So right now we're just talking about that. We're also going to have kids to party, and sorry, I'm a little nervous. And for that, we're thinking just picnic in the park, gardening with the mayor, water sports, scavenger hunt, just a few ideas to get the kids out there in one of the beautiful parks we have. July 3rd is our Independence Day celebration at the Greens. Last year, that was a huge success, and we're looking to go bigger and better this year. And also, November through December, Mayor wants to have a winter fest, and that is including opening the Trail of Lights on Thanksgiving.
And we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that under Trail of Lights on here, so.
Okay, and after that, we're gonna have the Christmas parade, and we have a few things in the works for that, but nothing is concrete yet. And then we're gonna close out Winterfest, Sunday, December 8th. So that's what we have on the calendar right now for 2024 events.
Thank you very much. That was very good for your first time up here in public. Very good. Corey, do you have anything to add about the eclipse?
Okay, so on April 8th, there's a solar eclipse that's coming from Texas all the way to Maine, right over Arkansas. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So it starts at 12:34, ends at 3:12, with the total totality right here from 151 to 156. So it's very short, but us as Sherwood, we're just gonna kind of keep it low key and not have anything real large. We're just gonna open up the sports complex. And just send everybody to come in. We we're talking about doing some food trucks, maybe opening the concession stand, maybe make a little revenue from there, so.
Okay. We do have our eclipse glasses, and we're just going to hand those out at that event. Is that correct?
We're gonna have different spots in the city that we'll have some there, yes. But we're gonna have spots around the city, people can pick them up.
Okay. So I guess if people need some eclipse glasses, if you want some, I guess if you need some to put in your businesses, maybe, that might be a good idea. Since we ordered 10,000 of them, we're going to have plenty. So
Just reach out.
just reach out to Corey, is the custodian of the eclipse glasses, if you want to reach out to him. That would be a good idea. Is that all? Okay. As I mentioned, when Lauren was getting ready to talk about the Trail of Lights, this morning, there was a after-action Trail of Lights meeting in the mayor's office. And I mentioned in that meeting that I really wanted there not to be a lot of chatter between a whole lot of people. But I asked if Blake and a representative from the police department, and I hope the chief would be able to be here, and he is here. So if Blake and the chief would kind of just tag team, and they're going to report on what happened in 2023, plus what has been talked about for 2024. So if anyone has any questions, if they would just wait and make any comments or wait for their questions until these two gentlemen speak. Thank you.
Thank you. We had a pretty large meeting today discussing trail lights and anything around trail lights, from the dates that we open, the times that we open, how we utilize volunteer groups, if you want to utilize volunteer groups. We addressed some issues and concerns that came up from public, some that we had from the interior. And I think the PD did a really, really good job of stepping in and taking lead on how we navigated things. I think the reservation system, with some tweaks, did exactly what we wanted it to do. It spread cars out. I don't think, and I'll let Chief speak to that in just a minute, I don't think it hit 107 except for one time, and that was a minimal experience on that. But I think what we learned a lot about how we can do things different, and maybe how we handcuffed ourselves with the way we were getting cars through. And I think we're looking to make some changes based on staff recommendations going forward. But I think through the conversation that we had today, I think there was the ability that we have potentially to open up for an extended amount of time, maybe staff it less, if at all. And let cars run through, extend the hours, open it up, put cameras, security systems up across the trail in case things happen. We don't anticipate things happening. But I think we are at a pretty good place where we believe, based on what we learned this year, that the trail could potentially run itself if we open up the hours and extend it out. The complaints that we had, I know, I think I had one email from an individual personally that was upset about it, but you could tell through the course of the email he hadn't been here in several years because he was still talking about previous routes. There's some people that were concerned about the ticketing system, the reservation system. And I think even through the course of the trail this year, we've made some tweaks on that, and we got everybody in. I don't think anybody was turned away. I think everybody got through what wanted to. With preliminary information on car counts, I think car counts were about 500 a day, which was up a little bit from last year as well, spread out over the day. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how we evolve this further. We've discussed also potentially the gravel road behind the ballpark. We need to pave that. I think that would be a big addition for us to do, pave that, get that set up to where they can get up there and go around the serpentine and get into the trail quicker as well. So, but a lot of it, PD handled and did a great job of navigating the crowds, the staffing, and things of that nature. So I'll let Chief go and do anything.
So, I'll tell you that from the police department standpoint, and I've been dealing with the trail for a lot of years, and this was by far the smoothest year we've ever had. The reservation system really paid dividends, and really what the intent with the reservation system was to spread cars out over the course of the evening, not everybody coming at once, and that's what we've always had, is everybody came at once. And so by doing that, we never had the traffic back up on 107. There was one time where I was told that we had 5 cars in the turning lane on 107 that had to set through a light. And if you're not aware, I mean, in years past, we've had traffic backed up to Gravel Ridge on the north side of the trail, and we've had traffic backed all the way up to North Hills on the south side, running through, lights. So we've had to, and that's why we had to go out there, and we, last year, well, every year, we've had to shut DJ Hudson down to where we weren't allowing anybody to turn on to DJ Hudson because it was so backed up. And like they said, we ran, pretty close to the same amount of cars through as we always do. I went out there on 3 different occasions at different times to see it, to go through with the reservation system. The reservation system was easy. Listen, I'm the most computer illiterate person in this room, and I was able to do it with my phone to get the reservation, so it was easy. So a lot of the complaints that we hear, I'll just tell you, in my opinion, it's just people that they don't like change is what it boils down to. But it ran very smoothly, and we never backed up on 107. So for our citizens, the two biggest complaints, and I'll tell you, I got a lot of them the last several years, and the 2 biggest complaints revolved around 2 things. One was our residents were irritated that 107 was impassable. That they couldn't turn, that 107 was impassable. And the second complaint that I got was from people that were coming from out of town saying that we drove in and then you shut DJ Hudson, DJ Hudson, but you shut it down and we weren't able to go through the trail. This year, not one person was turned away, not one. Everybody got through. And the second thing was we never had one complaint about 107 being backed up. So to me, that is a win. And that's really the side of it that I look at, is the safety and side. And so from our perspective, it was a win. And I know Blake's going to talk about this in a minute, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. But one of the suggestions going forward is that to leave it open. And I'll tell you what I've learned over the years, this is what I believe, is that all of the problems that we've had on the trail were created by us. And they were created because of the way we would block traffic and not allow them to move until a certain time. We tried to control the way that the traffic moved and how it moved, and the times in which it moved. And then we had on the back end of the trail, and I've talked to y'all about this before, but on the back end of the trail, we were trying to take donations and give out candy canes. Well, the problem with that is it would back it up, so every time you stop and you talk for 15 to 30 seconds to a car, that doesn't seem like much, but it backs that thing up to where there no relief. By moving that from the end of the trail, that allowed people to flow through and exit, and we did the stuff on the front end. And then we experimented with some things, and Blake will talk about this in a minute, and for future recommendations, but I think just allowing us getting out of the way, letting them go, I think proved to be, a good deal. So from our perspective, it went great. So we appreciate y'all working with us on that. Any questions of me about anything?
And one of the recommendations that we kind of came up with as a consensus of the group that was there today was to open earlier, like it had been previously, Thanksgiving. Our staff will have the lights up, ready to roll. Open up Thanksgiving and run it through January 1st. And by opening it up where we are not staffing or manning it, to Chief's point was, if we open it up earlier, we have the gates open up earlier, people that are standing there and waiting in line to go at 6 o'clock, they can freely come in earlier. When it gets dark, we got the lights on, we'll schedule the timers, lights go on, and we can leave those on till midnight like we have anyway. So if we leave it open, it spreads out the people that want to go through, those that want to go in the evening, they know that, it could be potential, a little bit of traffic. But I think if we extended out the hours, it's going to also alleviate some of the traffic issues as well, because you don't have to sit there and wait till 6 o'clock for the gate to open up. It's already going to be open up, so as soon as you go through at 5 o'clock, if you want to, the lights are on, you go ahead and go through. I think that'll work out pretty well, and just like this year, we'll adjust if we have to. But I think the no candy canes and brochures is what we're looking at doing, and we're looking to potentially use the funds for that as to purchase kind of more rope. Well, we could do that. I'm getting prices on that I promise y'all will hear about soon. So, but that's a big deal. I think we can. I think Chief hit it on the head. A lot of the stuff was our issues that we created, some of those backups, and I think we can, get just as many people through. They can freely do it when they want to do it if we turn it loose this way. We had a few issues with some staff, not staff, but some of the volunteer groups, and I think that also throws that out a little bit as well, to where we don't have to rely on individuals to run it that, I'm not going to say don't care, but they're just not as invested as other people are. So the goal is to get people to go see it, to enjoy it. I think we can do that this way. So we'll have more on that later. I think that's the way we'd like to go, and I think staff, and those that were out there really, really agree as well. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust.
Do y'all have any questions of either one of these guys?
Only question, are y'all still going to do the reservation deal next year? No.
We don't believe we'll need it.
You're, okay.
And it adjusted a little bit this year, because I think, some of the time, some of the stuff that we heard was that, people had a reservation, but then they didn't, if there's no wait, they weren't scanning the codes. It spread people out enough. But I think the reservation did what we wanted it to do this year, to see if we could spread it out enough where the cars are, not back up, so.
Well, I talked to the chiefs. I talked to a lot of his officers that I know see come through the restaurant, and they were all pleased at how well it went this year,
Here's the thing with that the reservations did. When I said that it spread out the load over the course of the night, one of the things that we were interested in knowing was, how many cars can we get through there? How many cars can freely pass through, in a reasonable amount of time? So one of the nights, and I can't remember what night it was a Friday night or a Saturday night, was one of our busiest nights. And so we had one of our guys get in a car and get in and drive. And I can't remember how many cars we ran through that night. Well over 1,000. It was probably close to 1,500 cars that we ran through that night. And at one of the busiest times, we put our guy in the car, and he drove through the route, and it took him, I think it was just a little over 20 minutes that it went. And I did the same thing one night. I went through it one of the busy times intentionally. And so in my car, I never stopped moving. It moved through. So what we took away from that, and that's the reason why we feel like that's something we could opening it up is because once people understand that I can go through whenever I want to, then they're gonna be the judge of how long I'm willing to wait. If it's backed up on DJ Hudson, they may turn around and leave, you know, and come back later. But it's, the problem that we ran into in the past was just, when we're holding them at a holding point, and we're not allowing them even into the Serpentine, it backs up on 107, and then you would get a little bit of relief when you would open the gates, and they would stack up again, waiting on to open at the front of the trail, and then it would backfill in there, and then as soon as the trail opened, and then they start stopping at the backside, you just had this constant stop and go, and you know how when you, and the best way I can relate it to you is when you're on the interstate, and you see a wreck, and you sit there for an hour not moving, and you finally get up to the wreck, and it was out in the median, it wasn't even in the roadway, and you're thinking, why in the world was traffic stopped? It's because when you stop that many cars, it backs up and backs up and backs up, and it takes an inordinate amount of time to release that traffic to ease off. So when we relieved that pressure, it just ran so smooth, and I have no concerns, and we can talk more about it later, but I have no concerns that even unmanned, and we will watch it for sure, we'll have, my folks will be out there to watch it, but even unmanned, I just don't think that's gonna be a problem. I think that we were creating the problem, just the way we were operating, so.
So I think we're going to have more to come maybe next month, and we'll have the final numbers next month. Let's just kind of see. I think they were still doing, we had, of course, we did the Fast Pass. We made money off of that. We had we had money coming in off the QR sales. We had, just the general donations. So we were.
Did a good job. We're still gonna push the donations. Heather did a wonderful job. We've already got a plan in place to kind of get that word out throughout the course of the year. The donations will help to improve that, and then what donations, what things y'all purchased, we're gonna kind of highlight as well.
So she also put something out there today even. So just keep it out there in the forefront. So we'll have some final numbers maybe next month as far as the number. And we were open less days this year than we have been in the past. So we're going to see how it compared, per day. We were open less days and how much money. So we want to do all that before we bring the final numbers in.
I think actually,
Sean
Sean has a few things.
Sean has some stuff he needs to talk to us about, so. Okay, and while he does that, I'm gonna pass
Yeah, we have a few displays.
this way, and I'm gonna pass that down that way, and Charlie, when you get done, if you'll pass it back, because I really haven't looked at that, so.
All right, so the first one, the big angel, we're getting rid of old displays and trying to keep, newer ones coming in. And if y'all went through there, I don't know how many of y'all did, the field of angels is rough. Some of those angels are as old as when the trail started. So we kind of came up with an idea to maybe take all the small ones out and purchase this 14-foot larger angel. One, it'll give us more real estate on the trail, and two, we can eliminate all of the old angels, and instead of doing the memorial field, it'll be more of a memorial angel. And there's a price attached to that as well. And then the other three are for citizens or customers that have submitted that need to be, need y'all's approval.
Okay, so, for your information, Charlie, we, as a commission, we okay all the displays to make sure they need to have some kind of Christmas theme to be approved to. So first, let's look at these 3 displays that have citizens that want displays. That's the easy part before we go to the hard part. So, what do you guys think about the 3 displays?
Are these replacing These are replacing displays or would be in addition to current displays?
These are new displays by new citizens or, yes.
But they kind of yes to both. If we have some old ones that need to come out, they can take those off.
Does anyone have any problems with how these look? Or they all pertain to Christmas and have Christmas theme? And that's the main thing, is that they all have something Christmassy about them. Okay,
Motion to approve the
we have a
displays
motion
as
by
submitted.
Jeff. Josh,
I'll second it.
and we'll have a second by Jeff. Okay. You want to call the roll, please?
Sure. Charlie?
Aye.
Faith? Nita?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Marina?
Yes. Okay, now for the harder part, the angels. And I think everybody has probably been to the Trail of Lights before, whether or not you went this year or another year. The angels are still the same. There's a lot of angels out there, like Sean said, and they're in two different sizes and various states of repair or disrepair, as you might want to say. So the older ones have been there for quite a while. Does anyone have a brochure with them? Even though we're not doing them anymore, but
What are you looking for in the brochure?
like how many, some of those have been out there for, how long have we done this now? Like,
20+ years?
yeah, so some of those have been out there since the first or second year. We've had some of those angels out there. So some of those are pushing 20 years old.
Yeah, and the problem you run into is the metal's breaking, the sockets are dry rotting, the bulbs we've replaced, and the fact is you can tell the new ones. I mean, they're big, bright, the bulbs are closer together, and that's the difference. You know, they were $100 20 years ago, now they're $700. We're just not getting people purchasing like we were, but at the same time, how do you replace 95 angels at $700 a piece?
And we had a big discussion earlier today during the Trail Watch meeting about how we were taking out these older displays because they were in disrepair. And it seems like we're not following our own rules if we're taking out an individual's older display because that individual's display is in disrepair. And we're saying to the individual, we send them a letter, for those who don't know, if the individual's older display is in disrepair, we do send that individual a letter, and this has been signed off by our city attorney. And the individual gets this letter that's saying your display, if you want to replace your display, you can replace it. So it's kind of wrong that we send this individual this letter, but we're doing the same thing. We're having these angels out there that are in the same disrepair. So once you purchase these displays and or angels, they're now property of the city. So I'm asking you guys to weigh in on your opinions on the angels now.
Kind of the conversation we had about the displays.
Right.
Before the letter went out, now kind of feel the angels. We kind of need to do the same, in my opinion, the same for both.
So what say?
My question is, are
discussion?
you suggesting to take the big angel to replace all?
We might could put some of the better, new, smaller ones around it.
I think you're gonna get a little bit of flack from those memorials. A little, I get what you're wanting to do. I agree with what you're saying, that a lot of them needs to be replaced. I would say not just put one big one, put a big one and several of the small ones and make it more of a field of the angels. I think that would appease a lot of people.
But out of probably the 95 to 100 that are there, we're talking maybe 5, 6 of the small ones that are good, which wouldn't be terrible. But you could still do the same in the brochure, list the names, still, it kind of be a memorial field, but not to the extent it is now.
Oh, I agree.
Sean, what about this? So how many do you think are the old ones? You say 95, 90, 95? What if we took out like 20 a year? and bought a new angel every year. So we take out, let's say if there's 80 or 90 or whatever, let's just say there's 100. We take out 20 this year and buy an angel, and take out 20, phase it in, phase it out, or do 25.
I mean, that's the way
I mean, you want to try, would that work, would that be better? I mean, we're doing the same with the others. We're phasing the other ones out also. We're doing because some of those older angels weren't all bought the same year. The older angels weren't all bought the first year. The older angels were bought in steps, and we're doing the same thing with the older displays. We're getting rid of those in steps.
Yeah, we're doing those by years purchase.
By years. I don't know if there's a way to know when those angels were purchased. I don't know that there's a way to,
I don't know that. But, I mean, we could do that. We could do 20 or 25 a year and add one in, and then you'd end up with, let's say, 4. Maybe don't do the 14-foot, maybe do smaller, and then you just have, 10-foot one, 4 10-foot ones, and then the other small ones around it. I don't know. There's multiple things we could do.
So my question is, do we have responses from all those individuals that are part of those angels? Or do we have latitude to do as we
Okay,
think we can?
What we did with the displays is, correct me if I'm wrong, when they donate, basically they donate to the city when they purchase it, so it becomes city property. So that's how we were able to take the old displays out and put purchased by us or by citizens in. It's the same thing with the angels. Now, we did send the letter out to the residents or company or whatever it was, and say, basically, a first right of refusal. They could buy a new one, they could update, and a lot of them chose not to. Because when they bought them 20 years ago, it might have been several hundred, now several thousand. The problem with the angels is gonna be tracking them down. We had a hard, Diana had a hard time tracking down the people. People had passed away, people had moved away.
Helped her.
It was difficult getting hold of people. And that was just a few, and now we're looking at, 90 of them.
Yeah.
But we could do something similar to that.
Well, I think it's important to put on the record for any citizens watching today is that I've been a part of this committee for almost 2 years now, and everybody that's involved with this project has a heart for those people that purchase those. Everyone here, when making these decisions on this committee and city officials, and I know you guys, I just want to put it on record, I know everyone has, it's a difficult situation at times, but it needs to be said that all of us, want to do our very best.
And I agree 100%.
and that's why we're all,
Can I make a suggestion? So, I'm one of those people, who has an angel in the field of angels. And I think that the main thing, if you, for example, I don't look out at that field of angels and go, that one, because I don't know which one it is. And what honestly I think mean more to the people than the physical angel, because no one knows which one is for what, or would be if you had a one angel, and if you had even signs with names on it, would it probably mean more than the actual angel itself?
Yeah.
And that would be a relatively low cost, but that would probably mean more to the loved ones to be able to go, yes, and there's my grandma's name, or there's my son's name, or is it just something to think about, but that would mean more than the physical angel itself.
That's what was my thought. I don't recall signs being on the individual angels or anything
They're
like
not.
that. It's just that we just have the list in the brochure of who's being remembered in the field of angels. And I think you could work this out to our benefit. Probably, we've made the comment that not that many people are buying angels anymore because they're $700 or $800 a piece, and they used to be $100 a piece or something like that. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but so if we simply say we're updating the field of angels, with some newer displays, and you keep, like we said, some of the smaller ones around 2 or 3 of the larger ones, but then you open up the field of angels again, and because they're not actually buying a display, you make it a reasonable cost if somebody wants to do add a memorial to the field of angels, $250 or $300 or something like that, instead of $700 or $800. and we say, you know, if you want your name added to the memorials for the Field of Angels, here's how you do it, and it costs you $250 or $300, I think you'd have more people, and I think you'd pick up some more memorials in the coming years if you did it that way.
And I will say this, the
Possibility.
price of the Angels now, you can almost buy a display and put it down there for, let's say, 1,000 to 1,500, a decent size, put a sign on it. It's just, you know, because the
Right.
new ones are, you know, 6 foot tall, they're big, they're almost a display themselves.
Right, well, and how much are these these angels were like, how much?
This one, this big one, is 14 feet, I mean,
Right.
it is $3,500.
3,500, that's what I was looking at.
Sean, I don't know if I just interpreted what you said correctly, but something popped into my head that may make this an option for years to come. Building kind of off of what Charlie said, what might be great is a rolling banner, so we don't have with
All
the
these
names
little
rolling
signs,
across,
right.
where we're not limited, because if we go down that path with a physical sign, we may have another challenge in 5-10 years where we're running out of
Right.
real estate. And, that's the hardest thing for any of us to tell anybody is no.
Well, like Mayor said, the names would be,
Yeah.
they'd be way
What
more.
you don't want is people stopping on the trail, waiting for 95 names to go through till they finally see it. The one they're looking for is only theirs.
It's true, yeah.
These are just ideas we need to kick
I'll
around.
tell you what, this is not anything we have to decide today, because, and we could just, it's just like, we're gonna be, next month, we'll need to order our display for next year, and that's one thing we talked about earlier before you got here, Mayor, that we'll have the final counts of all the monies, of the QR monies and everything by next month. So we'll know exactly how much money we have to spend on our display. We can order that, decide. So this will give us something to think on all month.
We don't need to move on this
We
with
don't-
that
we do-
January
we do-
pricing that was stated.
No.
Okay.
It says January discount applied, but I know Dee,
I think that goes till the end of February.
yeah, it usually does, and she can always work her magic. She does. And she's not even here today. She's be back tomorrow, right? Yes. So she can work her magic on this. I know she can. Now,
I
if you're
think-
watching, Dee, you gotta work your magic on this, so.
I think as a whole, we like Sean's idea of the larger angel with angels mixed in with maybe brainstorming towards a
Right, and,
memorial board.
and back to the point of we will not be doing brochures next year. That is a for sure, no matter what we decide to do with whatever on the trail. Lauren had said earlier that she threw away how many?
5,600
She threw away 5,600 brochures.
Digital, it'll be digital version.
So there will be no brochures next year, paper brochures. It will all be digital anyway, so it might fit into this anyway, so. All right, so
Good on the other three.
we're good on the other three, so those can be ordered. And you can tell the customers they're good to go. So we're good on the Trail of Lights. All right. All right, on the 2024 projects update, this goes back, this is going to be a new item on here. So, there's nothing to report on any of these yet, is there?
Oh, yes.
There is? Okay, good.
Here, we started.
All right, well, it's only January 3rd.
We're ready.
Wow. Let's
Parks and
go.
Recs does not sit on there,
The
well,
first thing we got there is, City Hall pickleball, and matter of fact, we met with a contractor there, today.
Okay.
At 2 o'clock. And I'll pass around for y'all to look at this is just a rough rendering of what we're looking to do right out here at City Hall.
Okay,
He's pretty confident that they can get started. If all things, we approve contracts, we get all the numbers right. As early, you don't know, with 2 to 3 weeks. So we may be able to see movement on that and, really, really soon. We would love to get it started, get it going. But I think, it was a good meeting. I think we like what they're wanting to do. And we're very confident in what they're gonna have the ability to do. So we've, double checked, dimensions on renderings and things of that nature to make sure we're getting, size courts we need, so.
All right, so we're looking at definitely having that, how long's the process of actually building this?
Well, it goes in phases. They'll get that graded, ready for, forming up for the
Right.
concrete. And then once they pour concrete in, or they get the concrete in, they do the post-tension concrete. It takes 30 days to cure after that. Then they'll come back and surface, do fencing and things of that nature. So, if it's done the way they would like to see it done, and depending on weather, the weather is gonna be the biggest thing because, with the concrete, it has to, it's not gonna be very good if it's in cold weather, so we'll have to monitor that. We would love to see it done within 3 months once we started, so.
Okay, so let's just say you start in February, so, okay.
Very dependent on weather.
Weather.
As we learned with the previous ones.
You gotta have like a solid week above 50 degrees from.
So we would like it, so you're thinking hopefully maybe by June 1st?
I'd love that,
Okay.
so.
We won't hold you to,
Well, and I'm very, as the previous things.
I know.
Very hesitant to put a date on it.
we won't hold you to it, okay.
We met them today, we're ready to roll, so we gotta line things out so we can get that going.
Okay, old soccer complex restroom,
We had a
anything?
meeting there today, we're gonna meet with, Shane Hill, I believe it's Friday about 3:30, we got our spot there, for the restroom.
Okay,
We discussed, as we had previously about getting the one hole that is there right now, get it cleaned up, and then we've got it laid out where we believe we can put that bathroom. I jinxed it earlier, I'll jinx it again, relatively easier compared to the two we've already done, which means it's gonna have some kind of flaw, but I think we like what we saw today. And as soon as these other two are done, we're gonna get that going. We gotta finish up some plumbing on the two that we're doing for this year, and then last year, and then we're gonna go right into that too.
all right. Repaving of walking area at baseball,
We met with them last week as well. We were trying to identify exactly where we wanted to cut off the paving around the concession area baseball. And I've asked them to meet me again to look at going around the.
backfield,
tail lights.
okay, thank you.
So we're gonna, whether we need to make an adjustment, we'll have a price on that, we'll be able to present as well. And the idea of that is if we can get them done at the same time, maybe cost goes down as well. So we're waiting to hear back from them and set up a meeting with them, and we will, that's something that we need to kind of at least get baseball going before baseball season hits, so it's here, or we'll.
They usually start like in February, don't they?
They're starting in February, but they assured me it won't take a tremendous amount of time, once they get going, so we're gonna have to get with the SHAC and the high school and coordinate when we wanna do those. So,
Okay. And tunnel of lights at City Hall.
I do not have anything to report on that one, so apologies there. I'll have something, that had, yep.
I am very disappointed.
Rolling along there.
I was gonna get it, I was gonna get it.
All right, well, just stay on up there. While you're up there, I'll just let you stay up there, and we'll just go under old business number C. So to finalize old business under number C.
Unfortunately, you can't remove that yet, because.
What can we remove off of there?
You can remove, soccer and trail lights, and actually soccer, got an improvement, because we put the irrigation in the
Okay.
middle section that we talked about.
So trail lights, building course is done. We can remove that one.
Building's done. You can take soccer off there,
And we're using that extra, that leftover money that was for that building.
Uh-huh.
Putting the power into it.
What now?
Remember we talked about adding power to that?
And did you get it in there?
Not yet.
So it's really not removed then, okay. Okay. Okay, soccer did you get the irrigation going?
yeah, we did that in-house, and we got that in the middle section, it looks just different.
Okay, what about the front part? Did that get dressed up?
It has not yet, because
Okay,
all
so
of
that's
that
not
is
removed, not
rock.
removed, okay.
It has gone back to almost what it was, we were up there today, and it looks that hill looks very rocky.
Okay, so that's not removed, okay.
Awesome, and come up with a plan.
Greens parking lot,
Punch list.
punch list, not removed, okay.
We have, 2 items left that we are not prepared to sign as complete.
Okay.
So,
We'll talk about those then next time, okay? We'll keep them on there.
Signing off on it, so
Okay. All right, thank you.
that's it.
Okay, updated history book, I'm still leaving that on there. Linda Remley, I've talked to y'all about, Dr. Linda Remley's working on this. Okay, approved budget, I'm gonna go over this. Charlie, that is in your packet, that is, I think everybody has. It's right after the minutes, but it is in the packet. This was approved by the city council. There is the numbers, and then the second page is explanation. So the estimated restaurant and hotel tax will be $115,000 a month. Interest earned is going to be $8,000 for the year. And I've got contributions from Trail of Lights for next year at $65,000. And we may have to rethink this if we do I don't know. That's going to be a fluctuation. That may need to change that one. I don't know. That's what a budget is, though. It's a fluctuating. Isn't that right, Colleen? That's what the finance director is supposed to tell me. It's right. So, and then under that, we've got economic development, and that's what we use to pay retail attractions and reimburse Josh for some things he does. Contingency, excuse me, that goes for just whatever we need it for. Parks and Rec contribution, $20,000 a month to Bill Harmon Rec Center and $10,000 a month to North Hills Park. Advertising, $65,000, that goes to Sherwood Chamber, the history books, sponsorships, and large ads. 4th of July sponsorship, that goes for the fireworks, $10,000 there. Sherwood events, this is for the events that Lauren talked about, $35,000. These are events that have to be okay through the A&P, so if they have events they want to do, they'll just come to us. Instead of Sherwood Fest this year, they're going to do little events. And if they want to do something they want us to sponsor, they'll just come to us and ask for if they want us to sponsor them, and then we'll just whittle that money down. Parks and Rec expense allowance, that goes for the Christmas parades to Lauren. That money doesn't come out of the Sherwood events. Parks, and I guess what we could do, since the Sherwood events monies, we could just put that up in that. That would make more sense since that's been changed. And then make that be the Christmas, the city calendar is under number 7. That's city calendar and Christmas parade, but anyway. Office expense, that's for stationery, bank fees, etc. That's used over in the clerk's office, Trail of Lights. Now, this is not used for the display. This is used for the bulb replacement, electricity, advertisement, all the other stuff that goes along. And that's we're probably lower that because we're not using groups next year more than likely. There'll be no candy canes next year. So that's going to be changed also. Maintenance, the $450,000, that's going to be for all the items that Blake just explained to us he's working on. Capital items, that's the $60,000 that we will use for our display. And the bond payment is $340,000. That includes our trustee fee. So there we go. Does anyone have any questions on the approved budget?
I think the only question I have is between Trail of Lights income at $65,000 up there and then Trail of Lights expense $70,000 here. You said you believe that expense will go down, will be less than the $70,000 that was approved in the budget because of plans y'all made this morning at this other meeting. I assume y'all discussed the fact that if you're not stopping each car with a bucket, you're not going to get as much money contributed next year.
Exactly.
Contributions will be down.
That's why I said earlier, we're going to have to change all this. So that part's all going to be changed, but our expenses are going to go down. On expenses, we're not going to be using brochures. And I don't know, I haven't got with Diana because she's out, but I'll have to get with her and get her expenses on a lot of this stuff. We're still going to get porta potties and stuff because we'll still have kiddos that are in cars that are going to need to go to the bathroom.
But so the hope is that the contributions don't go, and the reduction in contributions and reduction in expenses kind of match each other.
We hope
and we
so.
won't know till-
Yeah, we're going to still have a QR code that people can access online, and we'll have plenty of signage for people to have QR code, for the QR code there. But there is the expectation that donations could go down, and, but
I think they almost have to, if you're not just literally asking for the money at the end of the trail like you have, or the beginning like we have.
so it's a great possibility, so. Anyway, okay, new business. In y'all's packet is our usual yearly SFI, which is Statement of Financial Interest. And that has to be filled out, as always, by January 31st. Usually, and y'all, remember, we turn it in every year to Angela Nicholson, and she's no longer the city clerk. So our new city clerk is Charlotte Watson, and she does not keep regular office hours. So just turn it in to the clerk's office and just make sure when the ladies stamp it and date it. Make sure it's notarized. There's a notary somewhere over in City Hall complex. And they will just make sure it's over there, notarized by that date, okay?
Do we turn in this information?
And then, I was gonna say, the next item is updated information sheet. It's that banker in you, isn't it? You're always.
It is, it's like, come on.
It is continued on the back, too.
See, it's continued on the back page too. Okay,
It was 2 pages.
it was a two-pager, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And then the updated information sheet, and this is also for Charlotte, so she's trying to get on top of things too. So if y'all would just fill this out, and if you don't do it today, you can give it to me next time. And she'll keep a copy, and the secretary will keep a copy, and I will keep a copy, so, okay? And does anyone have any announcements to make? Okay, seeing none. Everybody may be excused except for us. Colleen, does Steve need to stay? That means, is there anything 3 months or longer? Then he needs to stay. He'll need to stay. All right, I'll see you in a minute, Jamie. IT, you can pause the tape, please. In fact, I'm just gonna, Steve, if you just want to come up here and I'll mute everybody. IT, if you can restart the tape, please, IT. I was making sure that wasn't them, but, because Cameron's not working today, but. Okay, so we did meet with Colleen, our finance director, over our finances. And we discussed two individual entities that are 3 months in arrears, 3 months or more in arrears. Does anyone want to make a motion regarding those?
So moved.
We have a motion that letters should go out on those two entities that are 3 months or more in arrears, termination letters.
Second.
Second so we have a motion by Josh and a second by Charlie. If you'll call the roll, please.
Charlie,
Aye.
Nita,
Aye.
Faith, Jeff,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Marina.
Yes. All right, is there any other business to be brought before the commission? All right, have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, made it in under an hour, can't believe it.